Yo, Crodies, what's good, fams? So, Mans is back with another video just now, eh? Anybody who's judgmentative about the fact that I'm wearing, which is not a do-rag, by the way, but it's a neck gaiter. I got my hair in a neck gaiter because I want to look like a fucking poser. Um, Obviously, it's not that. It's mainly because it's fucking hot as shit outside. It's like 38 or 35 or some shit. But the humidity is down to like 30 something finally, so fucking, yeah. Stay hydrated. Hashtag Esca Life. I fucking knocked over the camera almost. Let's get it. So you guys read the title. Today we're talking about the pros and cons of legal dispensaries here in Canada. I'm going to do this video with the exact same thing in mind, but on not legal dispensaries, so non-licensed dispensaries, as I kind of feel like there's more of those than there are legal. If somebody can confirm which is right, like if there's more legal or not, let your boy know. Let us know, man. But first things first, when it comes to buying from these dispensaries, it's actually not difficult. It's two things you need. And I'm talking mainly about storefronts, but really, depending on what province you're in here in Canada, it does also, some of them require, like here in Ontario, you don't have to sign up, make an account or anything. It just asks you to verify your age just by putting in a date. So, I mean, I want to point that out. You know, if you guys are parents and suspect that your kid might be doing some malicious type of shit, such as going on the OCS and committing fraud, might I add, because you're lying about your age. That's fraud. Arrest your kid. I mean, do what you will. Don't at me on anything. I'm not a legal advisor. Thank fuck for that. You know how many people would be in jail if I had to be a lawyer or some shit? Like I don't know fuck all about anything, man. But look at the introduction to this video. That says everything about me. So I thought it was kind of funny. Did you guys think that was funny? Give it a thumbs up if you guys thought it was funny. You guys tend to do a really good job at showing me that things are funny. I don't know. So, as I was saying, when it comes to going to these dispensaries, and I'm bringing this up also because I know that now, in the next few months, possibly, if the government allows, if Uncle Sam gives way, do I need to spell it out? More people will be coming back into Canada, whether it be for leisure purposes or whatever the reason. And one of the attractions is that weed is legal here. Now, granted, it's not 100% legal, meaning that you cannot just do whatever you want with weed, smoke it wherever. Anywhere you can smoke a cigarette, you can smoke weed, with the exception of work and other things I'm just obviously not going to think of off the top of my head. My point is, smoking weed here and consuming cannabis in other forms such as edibles and concentrates and whatnot is so much easier now that it's legalized. That being said, going to a legal dispensary, you guys may be thinking, if you guys have been smoking for any amount of time and you have tried non-licensed dispensaries, storefronts, or not, and I say or not, I'm recently referring to like these delivery services or websites, like Power Plant Health, just links down below. I recently also did a review on them, so go check that video out, links down below. It's not very difficult. Like I said, you're going to need your ID if you're going to a storefront, and actually, even some online dispensaries do this too, where they ask you to verify by putting your ID next to your face. I personally don't really like to do that. I would rather have to put just like my information and not have my face and my ID card on photo and then on a website just in case it gets hacked. I'm really paranoid about that. I know I'm actually not. I'm just being overly dramatic about it to be what I think is funny. I'll leave that up to you guys if you think it's funny. But no, seriously though, when it comes to getting these kind of things, in the legal dispensary situation, pretty straightforward. Now the selection is going to be, depending on where you go, good. And it ranges from like alright to good. Not very often would I say you can go to a government dispensary, licensed dispensary, legal dispensary, whatever you want to call it, here in Canada at least, in Ontario specifically. I don't know what other provinces and territories, just want to clarify. And get good, like really good weed, like great weed even. So, I mean, keep in mind, if you're looking for top shelf, unfortunately, I don't know anybody that's going to be able to say that they've gotten top shelf from a government dispensary. That being said, this is kind of why I want to do this video on the other side of the cannabis industry, the non-legit or aka gray to black market area of the cannabis industry, because of the fact that there are so many more available things you can get in terms of not limited to like numbers and shit through these non-licensed dispensaries. Now, one of the biggest benefits to going legal, for obvious reasons, is it's legal. So you don't got to worry about your shit getting stepped on, aka laced, aka mixed with shit that you don't want to be smoking or consuming. Um, and it's lab tested. So I mean, like, there's benefits to it, but with the rewards come, I guess, drawbacks, if you will. It depends on how you look at it. If you're really like really particular and really anal, so to speak, pardon my language, about these kind of things. The milligram cap here in, the THC cap for edibles here in Ontario is 10 milligrams. I believe that's across both edible and drinkable products. Even though I said edible, when I say edible, I mean like drinks, things like that, like food, drinks, that are infused with cannabis, whether it be cannabis oil, distillate, whatever, any kind of concentrate for that matter. So that being said, it's not the most. You can obviously get more, as I've showed in my past reviews of my edibles, that you can definitely buy for not even that much more, sometimes about the same price, if not less. 30 milligrams per piece in a 10 pack. So 300 milligrams in a pack of 10 candies is not bad. In fact, I found one place, I'm thinking of trying them out for edibles. I'm a little skeptical, so I'm trying to ask around to the community and see what they think, if I should do it or not. And if I find that it's worth trying them, I will definitely do a review on them, first impressions and whatnot, the way that I did of powerplanthealth.ca. But as of right now, I'm not mentioning the name because, again, I don't even know if I'm actually going to go through and make their purchase with them. But I was able to find a site that sells edibles, the same kind of edibles, not the same brand, but like the same amount of THC for $15. So I'm saving $5 to $10, depending on if they're on sale, which is not bad. I mean, saving any kind of money on edibles is a good thing, right? Now, getting back into like this government kind of thing, this is like somebody who's not really knowledgeable and doesn't really understand that there are other options that are not legit. I'm sure they could imagine, but they just don't know how to access them, or they just prefer not to, is going to basically be limited to whatever the OCS or, sorry, not the OCS, government dispensaries will provide. So that being said, like I said earlier, the THC amount is capped at 10 milligrams per piece. And again, it can go as low as, like, I've seen 2.5 milligrams in a drink, which is really, really low. Granted, drinks, you might be able to, they might be able to kick in a little bit quicker. It depends on the person's, the way their liver processes it and all that fun stuff. I'm not trying to sound like some doctor here, so. But when it comes to stuff like that, definitely, I mean, if somebody that doesn't know that there's an availability of getting stronger edibles will, in my opinion, I'm going to say it as lose out or not get to experience the stronger effects, or at least not have to, they will have to consume 2 to 3 pieces of edibles if it's at 10 milligrams. So if it's less, it's probably way more for me, especially. I could top out at like 50. So that being said, it is one of those things that, again, it's a given. It's a double-edged sword. Maybe it bothers you. Maybe it doesn't matter to you. Another thing, this is kind of more on the customer experience side of things, which I personally think makes a difference, in my opinion, when you're going into any establishment. The first impression and then the ongoing impression that they give you. So what I mean by that is you can have a great first impression, but then after that, your visits are trash. It's absolute shit. And I mean, that to me in the past has actually made her made her broke. Whether or not I return to that dispensary. So that being said, it's a given. So not everybody's going to be on the same page in terms of, like, for instance, I may not really care so much about the customer experience. I know I'm getting really good weed, but for me, it's a matter like if you guys remember, if you guys have been around for that long, one of my first story times was talking about dispensaries. There was a dispensary that I used to go to with my boy from Montreal that admittedly had great weed. The customer experience, however, wasn't on par. On multiple occasions, I felt like they just tried to rip me off, and they were not able to really explain the product. So, I mean, in that case, as many people I feel would be, if you're buying something that somebody can't really educate you on, in the sense like, in this case, if I'm not educated enough on weed and I'm asking you, hey, so what is it going to make me feel like? I'm not expecting you, especially these bigger dispensaries, legal or not, to, where they have like 10, 20 plus strains and whatnot, cross hybrid, indica, sativa, and all them, to understand every individual strain, but to give me roughly an idea. So if it's an indica, it'll be more of a body sedation. If it's a sativa, it'll be more of like a a head high. So personally speaking, if it's a hybrid, it gives you a little bit of both. So understanding the basic fundamentals of the weed is, in my opinion, crucial. And it's not that I think that, again, they have to know everything about every strain, but it helps when your dispensary or bud tenders, actually I'm going to call them bud tenders because that's the term, I guess. It helps when your bud tenders know the product that you're trying to buy, because then also, even on the bud tender perspective, it gives them the uppercut. Not, don't uppercut your customers. Don't do that. I meant to say the upper edge. When it comes to selling me something, because if they can teach me something about a product that entices me to want to buy it more, or even more of it, or come back for it next time, not only have they gotten a customer to come back, but they've got me to make a purchase, which is the initial goal. So, I mean, that's really important from the business perspective of things, as well, just as important, if not equally, for the customer. So that is something I think with these legal dispensaries, you don't have to worry about them being uneducated, not knowing what to say, not knowing the difference between an indica and a hybrid and a sativa. I think you guys can figure out why I'm bringing that up multiple times. I've had that experience. I've had a girl, I went to a dispensary, and she was a bud tender and was not able to tell me the difference between something really basic that every weed smoker should know. And I can only assume that you at least smoke weed or know something about weed if you want to sell it. I mean, I can kind of understand. I'm not going to be too harsh, because I understand, not everybody, like for instance, not everybody that works, I don't know off the top of my head, like an industry, but like not everybody that works in every job is like an absolute know-it-all about everything about that job. So I can kind of understand, but like I said, basic fundamentals are crucial to know. Next, when it comes to the acceptance of things, I think legal dispensaries get a bad rap, mainly because, like I mentioned earlier, there's so much limitations that people feel discouraged because like they just don't get enough out of what they're buying. But then again, I think that that's not necessarily the case all the time. Like when it comes to buying flour, I've gone to multiple dispensary storefronts that were legal, licensed ones, and including the few that were down the street from me, about a 20-minute drive, and they were able to offer, I think it was Redican, which is a pretty reputable company in my opinion, strains that were 30% THC, which is pretty good. So I mean, I really, really think that that's a nice thing to be able to see in the legal side of things, as opposed to typically, I'm sure when this first started off, that was not the case. I believe it was capped at like 20 or 24. I'm going to put my glasses back on because my eyes are starting to hurt. But when it comes to stuff like that, I definitely think with time, maybe limits may become a little bit more relaxed, and they may allow higher milligram percentages of THC in edibles. So again, don't take it like by the Bible, so to speak, for what I'm saying, because it might change in the future, near or far. But that's pretty much that. So to kind of wrap things up, who are the kind of people that I feel that would really be seen in these kind of dispensaries? Now, for one, first and foremost, somebody that wants the legal route, whatever the reason is, somebody that wants to go the legal route, whether it be because they just prefer it, because they don't want to, maybe they don't have the access to somebody that's within that gray to black market of getting weed. And I say black market, I'm mainly referring to like things like Silk Road that are not on like the main web, the interwebs, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the gray market is like things like Powerplan, and ones that are accessible, you can just Google search anything basically you can access that's a website that's not licensed on, but accessible via like Weed Maps or Leafy or something like that. Speaking of which, if you guys want me to do a comparison review between the two, let me know. Give this video a thumbs up, comment, which one you prefer and why, and I'll kind of do like a showdown between the two and see which one is better. Being that Weed Maps has been around for, I think, quite a bit longer. If I'm not mistaken, Leafy is fairly new. Is in like several years. So, yeah. Um, it also really narrows down to the individual's preference. Like if you don't really, like I said, also getting something that's lab tested just gives you that reassurance that your product, whatever it be, weed, flower, or edibles, concentrates, whatever, um, vapes, whatever is lab tested. It's clean. It's something that's safe and it's guaranteed. Um, Primarily because of all these restrictions. Again, like I said, that's a double-edged sword. These restrictions do allow for things to at least be verifiably safe. So I'm not worried that I might get something that can make me sick, or that in the very least they are lying about the THC count. That being said, I mean that's kind of one of the bigger upsides in my opinion. I look at that as an upside, and it kind of, again, like I said, it depends on the way you look at it, but it's an upside majority wise. It's, I don't know how to say it. More so, it's an upside to me than a downside. So if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I've asked you guys this like 4 times, so I'm not trying to sound like a beggar here, but give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you like this video so you can keep getting notifications for more. Hit the bell notification next to that subscribe button. And again, like I said in the beginning, if you guys have gone to any of these dispensaries, let me know which one you've gone to, legal or not, and then keep your eyes open for the same video about black market dispensaries. Until next time, deuces.